can start in seated position, and you can come into a tall back to help with a nice strong breath. We're going to take come into the tall spine and just lift from the rib cage, so you've got the hips back and you're lifted between the ribs and the shoulder and the hips. Now, as you come into your tall spine, just be aware of your breathing. And I love, Shirley, what you said about this time is we're so deprived of touch or any kind of intimacy. And we are social human beings. And if we don't have some kind of connection, then it's very difficult to feel like what you are. It's hard to feel alive and free and like there's something that you are relating to. And so have some compassion for yourself. That's what I was noticing this morning was I think we're compassion deprived in our culture. We don't know how to kind of feel the hard thing of lack of touch and feel compassion for ourselves in a way that is a form of intimacy, self-intimacy, and noticing, wow, this has taken a lot of resilience to go through 10 weeks of isolation or more, so just in this moment, take your right hand to your heart and place it there and feel the connection. You're coming right into this. And this is what we do when we see something beautiful. That's what I did when I saw the foxes this morning. Just that feeling of a homecoming, of beauty. That's what intimacy does. It brings in beauty. It brings in a sense of connection to our heart, to ourselves. And breathe in and out as if your hand is bringing energy into your heart. You have the most nerve endings in your fingertips. So just feel if you are breathing, as you breathe in and out, if you're breathing into that area. Feeling yourself expand. Your shoulder blades are back. And as you keep coming in and out with the breath, and as you keep feeling yourself touch down into that place of the heart, you're allowing your body to slow down and to be embodied in your heart. This is the highest electrical area of your tissue. There's more currents coming off from the heart than anywhere else, even the brain. Actually, I think it's 5 times more than the brain. So we are really tuning into the most energetic center of your body. Now I'll coax you into a lovely meditation. I want you to imagine your body as just an oval and go down a third from the top of the oval, and that's where your heart is. And in that area, and this is a meditation, by the way, that I did about 12 years ago, it came through so vividly. I asked the universe, what is the answer? What is the answer to be in joy or a presence at all times? And then I was shown an image of an oval, very much like a centipede. And right in a third down were waves, like shocking out, radiating out like sun rays. And then I had a huge jolt in my heart, as if I was, an emergency, and I'd had the heart thump bring me back, and I lifted off the bed. And this is the area where we have the most experience of connection. So allow yourself to breathe in and out, expanding into the heart center, and feeling your body connect deeply inside to your heart. This is the way. The way of the heart is how we connect into ourselves and into our remembering that we are life and that we're all life in separate places. And we're all capable of feeling alive in our separation, and then we send and feel that love out, feel it inside with self-compassion, and this can connect us. Probably the biggest, quickest way is to smile. I don't know about you, but I've been kind of amping up the smile part since we're making eye contact again. And then I always think, you know, if I don't have a mask on, I'm not sending anything out, and I just do a big smile. So just take a big smile and feel your body rise, and feel the sides of your mouth lift and just feel really big in your heart, in your chest. And breathe deeply in, filling the heart, and slowly out. And again, breathing in deeply and slowly out. And breathing in deeply and slowly out. Good. And now centering. And you can do that throughout the day at any moment. Take in a fuller breath, because what I noticed today was the word believe kept coming in, and faith. You know, as I could feel myself feeling more and more stressed and strained. And then I came back into, oh, well, there's a lot of fear right now in the world. Come back into believing, knowing that there's nothing more than this moment. The idea that things will be better when is just a promise that doesn't allow me to be in this moment. So Bono of U2 always says, what you don't have, you don't need. He knows this. And what is not here, touch or connection, it's not that we don't need it, it's that it's inside us. So we can touch ourselves with our breath, with our consciousness. A smile is the fastest way. And then of course, laughing is brilliant. That goes actually into the whole area of the respiratory tract, all the stimulation there. So we will do some giggling today as we're in our practice. Now, just take a moment to open the chest and turn the palms up and press the shoulder blades back as you open the heart. And then interlace the hands behind and send the wrist back. So you're sending back far. I love to take the hands right onto the back of the bolster for this one. So I find I'll get towards the middle of the bolster and then take the shoulders back, and then I'll take my hands there. Then I've got a loop down. And then you can take a big in-breath and lift the chest and let your shoulder blades slide back as you get rising and rising and rising. And the eyes lift. This is also very good for the spine and the spirit, lifting the eyes. And then you exhale and just come to normal. Now breathe in again and lift the chin just on a diagonal, but lift the hands and bring them over to the left and slide the shoulder blades down as you breathe in and out through the nose. And keep the hands reaching out. And then come on back to your center. And now once again, come on over, turn to your left, and keep the wrists reaching back as you get a wonderful lift from the rib cage. And breathing. And then you can come on back to your center. Now let the shoulders come back a little more, so you're going to really lift and open the chest. Then taking a deep expanding breath with the shoulder blades squeezing together. And exhale. And now gently release the hands back to your lap with the palms turned up. Now I'm imagining you probably have a taller back because your rib cage is lifted. So in your taller spine, come into your breath and feel your chin come back slightly. And then take the arms overhead, and the arms are open like a V as I rotate. And you have the palms turned up. So you're opening through your chest, and then you can exhale the hands behind the head. Press the elbows back and lift the rib cage. Feel the chest open. And then you can exhale and bend over to your side and let the elbows press back. So do keep that lift coming right up from the rib cage. And then you can breathe in and draw back up. And then exhale, and again, let the elbows press back, lifting from the rib cage. Keeping that rise, keeping the ribs knitted in. And then you can breathe in, draw all the way back up. Compassionately, gently Come on over again. Keep the elbow back. Keep the wrist from the ribs lifted. And breath. And then once again, breathe in, lift, and exhale over again. Rising, keep lifting from the rib cage. And then you can come back to your center one more time. Breathing in, press the elbows back. And of course, if you need to come forward, if it's a little bit too much for the shoulder, please do. And then breathe in, draw all the way back up. You can let your hands drop and then come on into neck circles. Coming right around as you lift the chin, dropping. And the gaze is up so you don't come up too far. And then you're down. On breathing in and out through the nose. Come on one more time in this direction. Breathing in and out. And then slowly, fully come around in the other direction. Just lifting, coming down. Keeping your breathing in and out through your nose. And then you're drawing back to the center. Okay, now take the hands behind the head and you're at the bottom part, the nape of the neck. Take an in-breath, press the elbows back, and then exhale and tuck your chin. Breathe in and out from the nose. Nice stretch into the low back. Breathing. Keeping the chin tucked, keeping that length through the back of the neck. One more full breath. And then you can breathe in, come on all the way back up. Very nice. Now we'll take the legs in front and you're going to have your knees bent wide as your, little wider than your bolster, about as wide as your mat. And then take the arms over, reach the hands down towards the feet, let your head dangle. And giving yourself a nice counter stretch in through your low back. Release the weight of the head. This is a really great stretch in your low back and your sacrum. Completely release. Breath. One more breath. Great. And then you can slowly breathe in and draw back up. Good. Now take your left hand behind, right hand at the front of the bolster, and your left hand's on the back of the bolster. You're going to prop up, lift, and turn to your side. Get nice and tall so you're at the front of the bum, getting that rise. Keep lifting. Stay with your breathing. Wonderful rise. Ribcage draws in. And then you can come on back, rotate to the other side, get your lift, opening, rising from the rib cage, breath, keeping that lift, keep the chest opening, and then you can draw right back to your center. One more time, take an in-breath, and then exhale, let your head dangle. The arms are over the shins and you let your head fall and you're breathing in and out through the nose and a constant breath. Nice steady breath. One more breath. Good. Now slowly uncurl, let your head fall. The chin is dropped until you slowly lift like a slow cat round rising and then come on all the way back up. Now if you can take your knees again so that they're down and you're straddling on either side of the bolster. This gives you the tallest spine. Now we'll take the left elbow up and take the right arm under. Come on into a nice opening through the shoulders. Now let the elbows come forward so you're rounding your shoulders and then drop your chin and tuck your chin into your arms. And you want to breathe in and out from the nose. Let your elbows draw forward so you've got space in between the shoulder blades. Now keep on breathing. And 2 more breaths. Keep on opening in between the shoulder blades. Now gently breathe in and lift back up, lift the eyes. And then you can draw the elbow over to your left. Let that arm drop and then circle over. And you're opening right through the rear of the shoulder, coming across. And then you can just draw across. And then you can gently release. Lovely. Let's take the right arm up. Taking the left arm under, wrap. Good. Now, round the spine. Let me show you from the side. So you're rounding, and you really have the shoulder blades forward as you're chopped. And the chin is in. And as you breathe in and out, you're creating space in between the shoulder blades. 1 breath. One more breath. Lovely. And then you can come on back up. And now you can draw that elbow over and across, coming to your, as I get back here, and let the arms circle over, coming across. Lovely, lifted from the spine. And now you can let that arm drop, pull across. Keep lifted, right from the rib cage. Really good. Excellent. And then you gently release. Okay, now this area is going to be a little more opened. So now I want you to let the ear come down from side to side in your own time. And as you breathe in, just rise. And as you exhale, keep the opposite shoulder drop down so you can have the longest reach out through the top of the head, of course. Breathing. Come on back up. Over again. Really nice length as the shoulder blade stays dropped. Coming back again, over. Breathing in and lifting, come over. And 2 more, breathing in, or of course in your own pace and time. Okay, just found a tight spot. Just see if you can use that heavy head to stretch right in through that scaling and trapezius right at the top. Okay, you're probably done. Now just come on back into the center. And I want to just teach a little bit about the shoulder. When you do the arms like this is a great and challenging stretch for the front head of the shoulder. Now when you do this, you're rotating your shoulder blades back. So I want you to try just that. This is a very good exercise to get a rotation deep in the shoulder socket. Generally, we use the top front part. So here we're getting more into rotator cuff. And this is a test that a physio or I would do to see if you can use the rotator cuff. So technically, you want the hands to come back far. If this hurts, straighten and do this. Do like a press forward and a press back. So I am coming slightly behind the midline of the body. Or this one. So it's like your guillotine, opposite guillotine. And you keep the elbows high. Now just let the shoulders drop. So good work right in here. Now, the next thing that the elbows do to assist the shoulder is this. So this movement, remembering that the shoulder bursts up, it's a hollow, is right in here. And you really want to, it's almost like an airbag, and you want to move that area in this way. So something I highly recommend, and I do this, you can do this when you're walking, is to do circles. So we'll come to the other side. So circles, I do that a lot in the yoga strength class, which you're welcome to join at 6:30 in the morning. And we do a lot of circling of the arm. So bringing that elbow back and forward if you haven't. Coming high. Okay, so, and arms out, lower than the shoulders. These are your shoulders. So shoulders only do this. They only pull your arms out to the side, overhead, in, back, but basically they do anything that's moving your upper arm bone, this, okay? So when you do this, it's more chest because you're pulling together. So it's anything that rises up, pulls back, but mainly rising up and out to the side. So this is a good shoulder exercise. The arms are pretty straight and you're reaching out with the hands and you're keeping your rib cage lifted. The shoulder blades come back slightly as you do your lift. And you come in the other direction. So keeping the space in between the ribs and the hips, keeping the rise right from the top of the head to get that wonderful opening in through the front of the shoulder. Okay, now take the thumbs up and then turn the thumbs down, rotate your cuff again. A little bit of a different area when the arms are straighter. And a couple more. And last one. And then let the arms drop. Okay, fantastic. So you're lifted from the rib cage, and the next thing to do is to turn the head to the side. We've done the side, and now you're going to turn and look back as you keep your spine lifted. And then you rotate to the other side. Your shoulder blades are dropped as you get that rotation. And you keep on looking back. As you turn, you keep lifted from the rib cage the whole time. And you're on speed. Look back as far as you can. The further back you look with your eyes, the more you direct the spine. And breath. Okay, come on back to your center. There we go, neck and shoulders. So those are exercises you can do throughout the day. Now let's come right down onto your back. And we'll start with the tailbone at the top of the bolster and come on all the way down and just let your shoulder blades slide under so you're nice. I'm just getting a delivery. Great. And you just let the tailbone release onto the bolster and the knees are bent. Now start by drawing the right knee in and come on into circles with that right knee. You can let your left leg straighten. And just coming around. Pulling in. Now you can come in the other direction. Really good. And then let that leg down. Release. And now draw the left leg in. Okay, come on in. Okay. Keep that going. Okay, very good. And I'll share with you guys, because this might be of interest. I just had delivered a big planter for the balcony, and it's basically a garden, and it's called Veg Trug, and it's a really fantastic system that you plant all your vegetables, and it's got just the right kind of depth of pot thing. So I just had that delivered, which means I have a lot of assembling to do. And then I'll be growing vegetables on the upper deck, which is really exciting. And then let that knee down. And then you can pull both knees up and in. I just need to adjust the lighting here. And let the knees come into circles again. So you've got the knees coming up and you're coming around. Great, the sun has come out so much. And then come on in the other direction. Bending the knees in, the elbows are back. Now you can let your left leg straighten. And then take the left hand across onto the outside of the right knee. Tip over to your left and your right arm is behind. And you gaze towards the right or to the ceiling, whichever feels good through the neck. Go into your breath. Keep on tipping over to the right. Good. And just keep your breath. That's it. Good. And then you can breathe in and gently come on right back up with that right knee. Hug the right knee in. And then windshield wiper the knees side to side. Stay with your breathing. And then you can gently release that right leg. Now draw your left leg in and pull in nice and snug. Press the elbows back. Now take the right hand across on the outside of the left knee. Tip to your right. Take the left arm out to the side and let that left shoulder drop back as you open through the side waist and rib cage. And gaze to your left or to the ceiling, whichever feels right. And stay with your breathing. Keeping that tip. Good. And one more breath. Okay, wonderful. Now draw all the way back in and let the flat to the feet rest on the floor. The arms to the side and the palms turned up and the fingers curled. Come into your breath and let your body back completely. Feel the feet flat on the floor and feel the weight of the head on the floor. The back of the neck is free. Now let your head gently roll from side to side. And then you can come on back to your center. Now take the right ankle and cross it above the left knee. Let that right knee rotate out. You can stay here because this might be enough of a stretch in the right hip. And if you want to go further, take that left leg up, grab behind the left leg, and then pull the leg in. Let that right knee rotate to the outside. And stay with your breathing. See if you can pull in a little more. Now, the thing I find I do intuitively all the time is I press my shoulder blades back so that I increase the bend of the elbow, and that way I'm not using my shoulders for the front, and you can get more of a pull in. And then take your, if you're up in the air, take the left leg up in the air and pull the toes back towards you. Now you're going to grab on somewhere here. I've got my arm in between the legs and then the other arm free. If you wish, you could take your arms over and then reach the heel out and pull back from your toes. So you're getting a good extension out from there. And you stay with your breathing. You keep that left heel reaching out and you keep pulling back from the toes. Let your shoulders rest back and keep the heel reaching out. Stay with your breathing. Let your shoulders drop. Now do a tiny rock. You've got a really good exposure of your hips and a good pressure of your upper low back into the bolster. And rock side to side. Now you can relax the foot in the air. If you're in the air and if you're down, and if you're like this, you're doing your rock side to side. Even if you've just got your arms to the side as we began. And keep on rocking in whichever position you are in. Rock on. And keep feeling the upper body let go. Good, so it's just enough of a hold with your hands to keep your foot there. And a couple more rocks. And then you can let your heel come down. Now let your foot down and keep that right knee there. Let the right knee rotate out away from you and go right into a relaxed state. Go right into your breath. Let go. I'll leave you in silence, and I want you to simply breathe in and out. Allow for any sounds that may be around you so that you feel like you're soft, tender, and drop back into the center of your heart again. That place where you feel home, warm, held, You're holding yourself. Maybe you'll even feel a sense of collecting into yourself in your belly, wherever it is that you feel the heart in your body. Some people feel very peaceful and harmonized when they connect with their belly area. Some people, it's the third eye in between the forehead. And others, it's the heart. It's usually one of those three centers. The third eye, heart, or the belly. So tune into whichever area feels like your home, like you're connected to yourself. Embody that sense of self. And one of the greatest gifts we have as humans, as I talked to you while you let go, is that we can say what we need. And so saying that we need touch, we feel so out of touch, literally, with each other and ourselves is such a beautiful ask, such a beautiful thing to voice. It's so important to be touched, even if it's just a feeling of connecting with someone, a metaphor of touch. Now, on your next breath, gently uncross that right leg and settle for a moment. Just let your feet be flat on the floor. Or let yourself go. Just feel your body release. Notice areas of your body that feel like they're more in contact with the floor. Soft and tender, long maybe. And take a couple more breaths. Nice long streaming breaths in and out from the nose. Okay, good. Now, next in breath, cross the left ankle up above the right knee. Let that left knee rotate out. Let your upper body go. This may be enough of a stretch, and we're always so different on each side. Now, just notice if you can then lift the leg, or is this enough of a stretch? If you can lift the leg, take the left hand in between, grab behind the knee and pull your leg in. Let your elbows bend as you rotate that left knee out. Let your shoulders release back. Stay with your breathing. Stay with your breath, pulling in. Now again, the shoulders stay back, the bend of the elbows pulls the leg in. Good. And then just feel really wonderful. You took this time to care for yourself, to come into your breathing, to stretch and to release your body, your back, your hips. Self-attending is so difficult to do. And no one ever told us that. We think, yeah, of course I'm going to take care of myself. And then look what happened. So just make sure that you know to take some time every day to breathe, stretch, move, play. And as I'm sure you know, there's so many funny things to watch on the internet. I have one on my Facebook page, and I think you need to scroll down maybe about 10 entries now. And there's one by Chris Mann, and it is so funny. It is so well done, and it's a take on a jazz song, and it's so well done. You really must see it. And then if you can take your right leg up and then pull the leg over, and I'm sure that you've been enjoying many funny things on the internet. There's so much to turn to, and you're just reaching the heel out. And then the other thing that I'm finding is if nothing else, you can watch all the people jogging by. Isn't it incredible? It's increased by 80%. I mean, I was just out gardening here before you came, and like 5 joggers went by in half an hour. It's like, that never happens. It was wonderful. Where, people really walking. So we are certainly living at a time when people are getting outside and connecting to nature. They're really recognizing the need. And now just, can you get the toes to pull back a bit and pull in a little more, whether the arm is behind or whether the hand is moving down the leg. I'm grabbing the foot because my legs are short, and that works really nicely. And then do a rock side to side in whatever position you choose. You can relax your foot in the air if it's in the air. Come on into your rock. Stay with your breathing. Breath. Good. Keep noticing your back falls back. More comes in contact possibly with the floor. And then you center. Let that heel drop. Let your legs drop, arms drop, and release. Let your knee roll out still, and stay letting your knee roll out, stretching in through the side of your low back. Your body's letting go. Stay with your breathing. Stay with your breath. Feeling the chest open, shoulder blades heavy. Good, that open heart, open chest. Now very gently, uncross that left leg. Let your legs settle again and completely release. Okay, for the next pose, we're going to stretch the arms just up like a V and press the backs of the arms into the floor. Take an in-breath as you press the arms back, and then wriggle the shoulder blades under so that the arms press back, shoulder blades under. Now take the hands behind the head just as we began, and then bend over to your left side. Do a side bend and press the right elbow back, and open up with the breath the right rib cage. So you're expanding that area like gills of a fish, and you keep that area open with a big in and out breath. And 2 more breaths. But please go into your breath. Take the silent break to be very inward. Lovely. Now breathe into the middle. Bend over to the right and press that left elbow back. So you're open through the rib cage. Stay with your breathing. Keep that left elbow pressing back. Good, breathing steadily. Breath, keep opening that left waist. Good, and 1 more full breath, opening the side. And then you can breathe in and drop back to your center. Now release the hands at the side and let your arms go. Okay, and just feel into that front shoulder stretch and imagining you got a good stretch. Remembering that this is the beginning of your shoulder, it goes right into the front armpit area. And getting the shoulder blades back helps to release the back, so you have less of a forward arc of your neck. Now take the arms up like a V, and then if it's great, take the arms overhead. Reach through the fingertips. Now press the feet into the floor, and then peel the tailbone slightly forward and up, so pelvic tilt, very strong, and the tailbone reaches out. You're pressing into the feet, shoulder blades are pressing back. Keep your feet pressing down, keep the knees pressing away. So I'll just show you what we're not doing, if you can look. So we're not lifting, you're fully supported, but you're actively tilting out. You get a really nice hollowed abdomen as well, so that you press into the low back from the front. And then you gently release and you let the arms come back. Okay, let go. Let your body soften here. Poetry. Okay, I'm gonna do a little lovely reading from Mary Oliver today. And then we're gonna repeat the pelvic lift, but I wanna give you some incentive. So, oh, there was such a lovely poem here. And it was, Lingering in Happiness. After rain, after many days without rain, it stays cool, private, and cleansed under the trees. And the dampness there, married now to gravity, falls branch to branch, leaf to leaf, down to the ground, where it will disappear, but not, of course, vanish, except to our eyes. The roots of the oaks will have their share, and the white threads of the grasses and the cushion of moss, a few drops, round as pearls, will enter the mole's tunnel. And soon, so many small stones, buried for 1,000 years, will feel themselves being touched. Mary Oliver. Okay, now we can do a pelvic tilt. So, don't need glasses. Exactly the same lift. We've got the upper body. So really make sure the shoulders are back. That's the key. That's the key. And you press into your feet. And you tilt the tailbone out. Now you're lengthening your spine. The beauty of this pose is you're using your quads, you're activating your thighs, you're flattening the abdomen, and you're stretching your tailbone out to lengthen your low back. Your shoulder blades, I love this. This is like doing a bridge pose without the work. And the shoulder blades press back. So you're working towards a straight line from the knees right to the backs of the shoulder blades. And your upper body is completely letting go. Stay with your breathing. And just breathe in and out through the nose. And you feel wonderful. You keep active by pressing your feet down. And then relax. And let go completely. Feel the heaviness of the tailbone in the bolster. Completely let go. That was the train. Just completely let go. Good. Now, the next thing I'm going to teach you, this is a special type of massage that's done for the scalp, is I want you to grab your hair and pull the roots very, very strongly. And just grab in different places. It's your hair. And maybe you need some good stimulation today. And then just feel yourself grab so tightly, it feels like you're going to pull your hair out as you scrunch and as you pull up. And maybe this is something you do after you've washed your hair to give it a bit of a lift to the scalp. Now, come on onto the back of the head. So you're going to take your right hand to hold your head. Take your left hand to do the scrunches. And really pull the roots, pull the roots. You can even stay there until it feels like, oh my God, you've gone as far as you can before it's too late. And the stimulation is amazing. And then come to the other side. Left hand is behind. Keep on squeezing, bringing awareness to the scalp, the roots of the hair. And 2 more squeezes. Scrunch, scrunch, squeeze. And then gently release and let yourself go completely. And then feel the wonderful buzz of stimulation in your scalp. Let yourself go completely. Great. Now you can take your right knee up and then your left knee. You're going to pull in pretty snugly, bring the legs up, and now you can hold on to the feet and bend the knees to the outside. Do a gentle rock side to side. So you've got a happy baby. I've got my, as you can see, my knees are, I've got my elbows over my knees. They might be on the inside. They might be on the outside. You've got that extra lovely tip of the bum. And then pull the toes back and grab onto the feet and pull the toes back towards you. Now do a good reach out through the heels as long and strong as you can through the backs of the legs. Pull the baby toe side back. Breath right down into the low belly as your shoulder blades press back and as you breathe steadily. Keeping that the heels reaching out. Great. Now your hands are going to come on the inside with the thumbs down. Now we're going to do a pulse. And I am keeping the legs as straight as I can so I can come right down into the inner thighs. And you keep the baby toe side pulling back. This is quite strengthening for the inner thigh muscles. It's okay to bounce. I was very excited when that changed. You know, back in the early 80s, they said no bouncing, but we have a lot of ways to test the tissue today. You know, if you think of PET scans for the brain, neuroimaging, and we can also do something called circuit EMG, which helps to see, you know, what is firing and how many muscle fibers. And this is a brilliant way to see that it's actually really good for your inner thigh muscles to get some bounce. The top of them will get a little bit more ability to, you know, stretch and contract and lengthen. And then you draw the legs together. Now the legs are to the ceiling, and then you're pulling your toes back and you come on into toe circles. Bring your feet apart. Brilliant for circulation. And then come on in the other direction. Really lengthen through the backs of the legs, upper body completely, let it go. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Grab on at the front. Now press your feet together and press the knees apart. So you're coming into a cobbler position. And as you press the feet together and the knees apart, you're getting the inner thigh stretch even further, a little bit more towards the inner thighs. And breath. Keep the feet clapping together, a permanent press as the knees part. And stay with your breathing. And then you can let your heels down. Let your arms rest to the side and then just feel the effects on your legs. Let your body go. Poetry. Okay, so just stay back. And then another brilliant poet, of course, and philosopher, kind of like a world teacher before we had world teachers. We turned to people that just had an understanding of life in a way that, in this case, was futuristic. And The Prophet by Khalil Gibran is one of the ways that we can foresee. It's one of the ways that we can foresee how living occurs in all the different aspects: courage, work, you know, our life's work, love, relationship. I say courage. And there's all these ways that we live that we don't know how. Because the only way we can discover is to trust and to step in and move. And yet there's also an intelligence that I love to call inside us. And I feel like Khalil Gibran speaks to that intelligence that tells us how to move. Perhaps our greatest way of living is through movement, and certainly the body knows this. And sometimes movement can be gentle and slow and paused until we know the true movement. Now I'm going to read, this is at the end of The Prophet. I'm going to read it in a few steps. And now it was evening, And Almitra, the seeress, said, as in seeing, blessed be this day and this place and your spirit that has spoken. And he answered, what, was it I who spoke? Was I not also a listener? So this is the prophet speaking to Almitra asked the questions, and now we're at the end of the questions at the end of the prophet book. Was I not also a listener? Then he descended to the steps of the temple, and all the people followed him. And he reached his ship and stood upon the deck. And facing the people again, he raised his voice and said, people of Orphalese, the wind bids me leave you. Less hasty am I than the wind, yet I must go. We wanderers, ever seeking the lonelier way, begin no day where we have ended another day, and no sunrise finds us where sunset left us. Even while the earth sleeps, we travel. We are the seeds of the tenacious plant, and it is in our ripeness and our fullness of heart that we are given to the wind and are scattered. Brief were my days among you, and briefer still the words I have spoken. But should my voice fade in your ears and my love vanish in your memory, then I will come again. And with a richer heart and lips more yielding to the Spirit will I speak. Yea, I shall return with the tide, and though death may hide me, and the greater silence enfold me, yet again will I seek your understanding. And not in vain will I seek. I have said in truth, that truth shall reveal itself in a clearer voice and in words more kin to your thoughts. I'll return to this in a moment. So again, this is the prophet speaking to people after he has answered the questions and giving kind of like a final message before he heads out on his ship. Now, so from here, we're going to open up through the body in a passive manner. We've been opening the chest. Now we're going to take the bolster out from under you, and you can just slide it out and then let your low back settle for a moment in the knees bent position. So you really feel all the effects in the low back, and you feel the low spine heavy and releasing into the floor. Now let your head gently roll side to side. And then you can relax again. Gently roll over to your right side, lie in fetal position before you come up to seated. Just take the hand under for a pillow as you release. Pardon me. You've got your knees stacked in fetal position. Just let yourself go for a moment. Breathing, softening onto that side. And then very gently draw right up to seated position. Now, we're going to come back onto the bolster, and I want you to take the bolster long and come to the end of the bolster, taking the tailbone right onto the floor and the tailbone pressed also right into the bolster. Now the knees are pressed, feet are pressing together rather, and the knees are pressing out for the fullest stretch. If you want to do less of a stretch, have the feet apart and then let yourself lower down. The other thing too is if you need to have a rolled up towel or a blanket underneath your head, that's a good position too. Now I can feel my low back is a little tight and it's responding, and I want to be more relaxed. So I'm going to push my bum up a bit so that I have my bum off the floor and I'm still getting the arc, and now my back's letting go.
So that's my back today. You know, you keep discovering how and what range you need as you breathe. So, and like literally as you breathe. So each day can be introducing a new range. And because we are doing the restorative now, I want you to really let yourself go. No ambition in opening. And if you need to put something underneath your tailbone, and this is where I've always asked people to keep a rolled up towel, or if you have something by you, a book, and if you need to keep the tailbone lifted, if you're that person, if the tailbone is lifted. And then let yourself go. Completely release into the weight of your low back coming down. I go with the wind, people of Orphalese, but not down into emptiness. And if this day is not a fulfillment of your needs and my love, then let it be a promise till another day. Man's needs change, but not his love, nor his desire that his love should satisfy his needs. Know, therefore, that from the greater silence I shall return. The mist that drifts away at dawn, leaving but dew in the fields, shall rise and gather into a cloud and then fall down in rain. And not unlike the mist have I been. In the stillness of the night, I have walked in your streets, and my spirit has entered your houses. And your heartbeats were in my heart, and your breath was upon my face, and I knew you all. I knew your joy and your pain, and in your sleep, your dreams were my dreams. And oftentimes I was among you, a lake among the mountains. I mirrored the summits in you and the bending slopes, and even the passing flocks of your thoughts and your desires. And to my silence came the laughter of your children in streams, and the longing of your youths in rivers. And when they reached my depth, the streams and the rivers ceased not yet to sing. But sweeter still than laughter and greater than longing came to me. It was the boundless in you, the vast man in whom you are all but cells and sinews. He in whose chant all your singing is but a soundless throbbing. It is in the vast man, woman, that you are vast. And in beholding him, her, that I beheld you and loved you. For what distances can love reach that are not in that vast sphere? What visions, what expectations, and what presumptions can outsoar that flight? Like a giant oak tree covered with apple blossoms is the vast man in you. His might binds you to the earth. His fragrance lifts you into space. And in his durability, you are deathless. There's some more, but I'm going to continue in a moment. So continue to breathe, open the chest. Notice if there's any change required for your legs. If you need to let go, or if you want to increase the stretch, which would be to have the tailbone right down, the soles of the feet together and the knees coming apart. And if you want to increase the stretch through your chest, you take your arms up higher and you reach your fingertips and you open. And you really press the elbows back to open the chest. And you stay with your breathing. Again, keep on opening. Keep letting your tailbone drop. And in this position, if you can be here, this is a position to evoke trust. Trust is something that's lived. I do think of it more as faith. And when your heart is open like this and your head is back, you're opening to receive. Now taking to this place that we began our meditation with at the beginning of class, taking to the center of the heart, a feeling of being connected to nature and to all that you are and all that nature is. Because you are stardust, you are universal energy. And if you can feel the heart is open, you might feel a warmth and an expanding quality in your chest and your shoulders pressed back. And to know that your body is safe, you are, and that you can drop into the center of your chest at any time to breathe and embody this feeling of openness, of receiving, of receiving. Take a deep breath in to mark this feeling. And a couple more breaths. And one more breath. And on your next in-breath, let the arms come down lower. So you're going to release the arms to the side. And I'm imagining that was a really good stretching through the chest. And whichever position you're in, let your legs straighten. So you're coming out and your arms are to the side with the palms just curled up to the ceiling. So you're still allowing for that lovely arc in through your back. Good. Feel the back of your body let go. Your feet roll out. And you breathe in and out through the nose, expanding the ribs. Stay with your breath. And now, bend your knees and take your hands, feet flat on the floor and apart. Take your hands behind your head. Take a deep breath, inhale, and then exhale and tuck your chin. Really look down to direct the spine and breathe in and out through the nose with that opened back neck. Good, make like a triple chin, really tuck in there. Stay with your breath. And then you can slowly lower. Come on down. And now you can gently roll over to your right side and lie once again on your side and let your body go, taking the hand under for a pillow. Good, stay in fetal position while I just prepare for the next pose. So do keep on letting your body go as you lie on that side. Good. Now draw from there right up into your seated position. We're going to take the bolster underneath your knees, and then you're going to lie onto your back. While I come into the next reading of poetry, continually from the prophet. So you've got your knees bent and you've got your feet just over the bolster as you're resting back. And feel the weight of your body go. You have been told that even like a chain, you are as weak as your weakest link. This is but half the truth. You are also as strong as your strongest link. To measure you by your smallest deed is to reckon the power of ocean by the frailty of its foam. To judge you by your failures is to cast blame upon the seasons for their inconsistency. You are like an ocean. And though heavy grounded ships await the tide upon your shores, yet even like an ocean, you cannot hasten your tides. And like the seasons, you are also, and though in your winter you deny your spring, yet spring, reposing within you, smiles in her drowsiness and is not offended. I just want to read that little part again. And the seasons you are also, and though in your winter you deny your spring, yet spring, reposing within you, smiles in her drowsiness and is not offended. Think not I say these things in order that you may say the one to the other, he praised us well, he saw but the good in us. I only speak to you in words of that which you yourselves know in thought. And what is word knowledge but a shadow of wordless knowledge? Your thoughts and my words are waves from a sealed memory that keeps records of our yesterdays and of the ancient days when the earth knew not us nor herself, and of nights when earth was upwrought with confusion. Wise men have come to you to give you of their wisdom. I came to take of your wisdom, and behold, I have found that which is greater than wisdom. It is a flame spirit in you, ever gathering more of itself, while you, heedless of its expansion, bewail the withering of your days. It is life in quest of life in bodies that fear the grave. There are no graves here. These mountains and plains are a cradle and a stepping stone. Whenever you pass by the field where you have laid your ancestors, look well thereupon, and you shall see yourselves and your children dancing hand in hand. Verily, you often make merry without knowing. Now, from that position, take your feet onto the top of the bolster, and then just take the soles of the feet together and let your knees splay out as you come into cobbler position. While I continue. Others have come to you, whom for golden promises made unto your faith, you have given but riches and power and glory. Less than a promise have I given, and yet more generous have you been to me. You have given me my deeper thirsting after life. Surely there is no, don't call me Shirley, surely there is no greater gift to a man than that which turns all his aims into parching lips and all life into a fountain. Just a side note, my life was never the same after the movie Airplane. I had to keep saying, stop calling me Shirley. Every time someone says Shirley, you must be joking. And in this lies my honor and my reward, that whenever I come to the fountain to drink, I find the living water itself thirsty, and it drinks me while I drink it. Some of you have deemed me proud and over shy to receive gifts. Too proud indeed am I to receive wages, but not gifts. And though I have eaten berries among the hills, when you would have had me sit at your board, and slept in the portico of the temple, when you would gladly have sheltered me. Yet was it not your loving mindfulness of my days and my nights that made food sweet to my mouth and girdled my sleep with visions? For this I bless you most. You give much, and know not that you give at all. Verily, the kindness that gazes upon itself in a mirror turns to stone, and a good deed that calls itself by tender names becomes the parent to a curse. And some of you have called me aloof and drunk with my aloneness. And you have said, he holds counsel with the trees of the forest, but not with men. He sits alone on hilltops and looks down upon our city. True, it is that I have climbed the hills and walked in remote places. How could I have seen you save from a great height or a great distance? How can one be indeed near unless he be far? And others among you called unto me, not in words, and they said, Stranger, stranger, lover of unreachable heights, why dwell among the summits where eagles build their nests? Why seek you the unattainable? What storms would you trap in your net? And what vaporous birds do you hunt in the sky? Come and be one of us. Descend and appease your hunger with our bread, and quench your thirst with our wine. In the solitude of their souls, they said these things. But were their solitude deeper, they would have known that I sought but the secret of your joy and your pain, and I hunted only your larger selves that walk the sky. But the hunter was also hunted. For many of my arrows left my bow only to seek my own breast, and the flyer was also the creeper. For when my wings were spread in the sun, their shadow upon the earth was a turtle. And I, the believer, was also the doubter. For often I put my finger in my own wound, that I might have the greater belief in you and the greater knowledge of you. And it is with this belief and this knowledge that I say, you are not enclosed within your bodies, nor confined to houses or fields. That which is you dwells above the mountains and roves with the wind. It is not a thing that crawls into the sun for warmth or digs holes into darkness for safety, but a thing free, a spirit that envelopes the earth and moves in the ether. And after saying these things, he looked about him and he saw the pilot of a ship standing by the helm and gazing now at the full sails and now at the distance. And he said, Patient, over patient, is the captain of my ship. The wind blows and restless are the sails. Even the rudder begs direction. Yet quietly my captain awaits my silence. And these my mariners, who have heard the choir of the greater sea, they too have heard me patiently. Now they shall wait no longer. I am ready. The stream has reached the sea, and once more the great mother holds her son against her breast. Fare you well, people of Orphalese. This day has ended. It is closing upon us, even as the water lily upon its own tomorrow. What was given us here, we shall keep. And if it suffices not, then again must we come together and together stretch our hands unto the giver. Forget not that I shall come back to you. The end of the world's longest entry. I did not realize it was that long. Sometimes the prophet has to be done in very small pieces. So thank you for listening. Now we're going to take the feet to the top of the bolster again. And you can take your feet wide. Now have your shoulder blades under the palms of the ceiling, and then bend your knees from side to side. Get a great reach over from there. Your shoulders are dropped back. And then you can take your feet to the middle. And for the last time, pull the knees in and pull the knees wide. Draw into your stretch of your low back with the elbows bending. Keep your head back so the chin is open. The chin is up rather, and the throat is open. Take 2 more breaths. And then on your next exhale, gently straighten your legs and take the legs over the bolster. We will finish the class in silence. So I want you to completely let go. Let your body go.
And as I join you in utter stillness, I want you to feel how your body is letting go, how you're resting back. And of course, if you need a blanket or a sweater, to get yourself covered up as the body temperature can drop during relaxation. And I will leave you in silence. And from afar, we will, all three of us, evoke a feeling of peace. Keep on evoking that feeling of peace, that feeling of the heart is open, and that place in your body that you feel like you're home and feel home. And continue to breathe.
Allow for 2 more minutes of releasing. Good, and now with awareness on the breath, take in a deeper breath. Completely exhaling. And again, a nice deep breath, really expand. And completely exhale. Now, you can bend your knees and take your feet right to the top of the bolster. Now do a small press of your low back down, tiny pelvic tilt. So I get my body out here. And then flatten again, completely release the tailbone. And then one more time, press the tailbone down slightly. You're not even lifting the bum. And let go. And then gently roll over to your right side. Come on, right onto that side. Take the hands under for a pillow to let your body settle for a moment. And tune into all the different, perhaps very different way you feel from all the effects of the breathing, the releasing, the letting go. And then from there, gently draw right up to seated position. Take a moment to sit and to feel the back tall again. Wow, I hope you feel a great difference. I can really feel this through your low back, through my low back. Just take a moment to let go and again, feel so good that you took time to take care of yourself. And this is what we do when we are separate and required to be separate. We tune into that place inside us that's connected to all. It sounds hokey, and yet we know that place where we feel home, where we feel peace, where we feel warm, where we think of our loved ones perhaps, or that beautiful place that we get to, that we go to, that knows we're everything, knows we're all life energy, and that life energy is us. And in that homecoming, there's peace. And now we can gently come back, open your eyes, and just be here for a moment. It's that wonderful feeling. And we'll bring our hands together and bow in Namaste. Namaste. Okay, lovely women. Have a fantastic day. Rachel, if you want to stay on, or Shirley, if you want to, I will let you know what times I have available tomorrow for Thai massage. And